What's up, guys? So today we're checking out this guy. Bam! It's the M1 MacBook Air. Now, this isn't the newest laptop Apple makes, and it's not the best anymore, but you know what? It's still got a whole lot going for it. Values on its side. Look at that freaking profile. Not to mention that beautiful screen. All right, so let's dive into this guy and see what I think about it. And oh yeah, that is a photo of my cat on here. Fight me. Now, first thing that this thing reminds you of is air. Look at that. Go figure out. So it weighs pretty much nothing. It's 2.8 pounds. And with this form factor, it really balances well. You see it's a little thicker there on the edge, and it flares or it thins out towards the front. And that really makes it a lot easier to type on, because instead of just sitting, imagine you're sitting on something flat like this the whole time, having something that's kind of angled like that really goes a long ways. And it doesn't seem like much, but just using this for a little while, you'll definitely notice it. The trackpad there is ginormous. It's not as big as some of the other laptops out there, but you know what? This thing's huge. I've used a trackpad on my iPad Pro 12.9 inch with the Magic Keyboard, and it's literally like half of this size, and I never even really had an issue with that. So this thing, welcome compromise. The screen on this is really vivid. It is very bright, not the brightest thing they make. There it is dimmed out, but it's pretty much up there with some of their newer laptops. Now this is gonna have 1/5 of the brightness less than the all-out high-end M1 Pro 14 and 16 inches on an everyday usage here and there. But when those are showing movies or just other HDR content that really has those popping colors, you're gonna notice a difference in the screen. I've compared this to my iPad Pro, which has a little better screen, and you know what, it was better, but not really the end of the world either way. Now, if you compare it to an actual computer monitor like this Apple Thunderbolt display here, you'll notice a difference, but hey, that's a huge monitor, cost way more than just this computer itself, so not too bad. Now, the speakers on this are pretty good. Again, slightly lower quality than you'll find on this monitor or the iPad Pro, but they definitely get the job done. They're a lot louder than you'll see on any phone or any tablet other than the high-end iPad Pros, so there's no complaints there. The microphones are also really good. I've used it in a pinch to just do a couple little voiceovers here and there, and I don't think you can notice. Something I like to do is basically just take this thing into a closet where it's full of, clothes and stuff, just somewhere you can cut down on the echoes. Do the recording in there, hold it up close to your mouth. Surprisingly good quality, not too bad at all. The webcam on it, could be worse, but it's not the best for sure. It's really fine unless you're trying to get really professional with it. One thing to remember with any camera, lighting is important. If it's a dark room, obviously it's gonna look like crap. Even just some natural lights like these windows or whatever you have makes a world of difference. Now, the power on this thing, freaking awesome. So back over here, I have the M1 Mac Mini, which is the desktop version of this same chip that's powering this. Apple released them back in late 2020, and they have been freaking awesome ever since. That was actually my first Mac that I've owned, and I love it. So this guy here, it's gonna have similar performance as the desktop, except when it comes to really intensive things like video editing, maybe some games, stuff like that. It might slow down a little, but hardly any at all. Honestly, didn't really notice any difference. And then you can just take this thing, slip it in your bag, do whatever you want to do with it. Just comparing like the speeds when I do graphic intensive stuff on this compared to the Mac Mini, not really different. I would say maybe a couple seconds here or there, but unless you're just sitting there with the stopwatch trying to compare them like some people like to do on YouTube, which I like watching, but real world, you're not going to notice it. So performance is all there, more than most people are going to need. Now, obviously, there are going to be some people whose requirements are a little higher, but they already know that before they get into something like this. Look at that profile, by the way. Freaking awesome. The battery life on this thing, phenomenal. Again, going back to the iPad Pro that I have, it's got a 10-hour battery life rated. Real world, not that. Here it is there, by the way. The M1 Mac Mini or M1 MacBook Air has an 18-hour battery life, and you know what? It kind of feels like it gets that, maybe even more. This thing doesn't feel like it uses any power at all. Like it's just coasting all day long. Only time I notice it produce even just the slightest amount of warmth is, again, when I'm doing the video editing for stuff like this, or just couple this and that. Maybe you obviously have it near a blanket, you're gonna feel some warmth, but not at all. I would say actually my iPhone or the iPad produce more heat than this thing. So all in all, would highly recommend this. It is a bargain at this point because when these launched, the 256 gigabyte model was $999, which was already a good deal because you got the whole laptop with the Apple quality, $1,000. Nowadays, you can get them refurbished. They go on sale often. You can get upgraded storage, maxes out at, unfortunately, only 16 gigabytes of RAM, which might be an issue. I'm kind of on the borderline with that. But then you can get the upgraded storage, which I do recommend. This one actually has the 512 gigabyte SSD. That's only got 256 back there. Kind of wish I went bigger with that. But it's a lot easier to add external storage on a desktop versus this, if you want to keep it nice and slim. You do have some options with these Thunderbolt ports here, but having a dongle flop around, kind of annoying, but hey, it's there. Do remember you still do have a headphone jack on this too, so that's another perk for this. And all in all, highly recommended. I do not regret it, especially at the price it's coming out now. You got to remember, there's always going to be new stuff coming out. There's always going to be the M2, the M3, the M4, or whatever it is. But you know what? This thing was cutting edge not that long ago, and that form factor is still really impressive. There may be some thinner, lighter stuff coming out soon, and you know what? There probably will be if it's not out yet by the time you watch this, but hey, this is never going to be thick. We're still humans. We still have hands that are going to be the same size, limbs that are going to be the same size, muscles that'll hopefully be the same strength. This is the way to go. This is about as good as it's going to get. Sure, there's going to be better stuff out there, but hey, sometimes you just got to pull the trigger and not just wait around. But all right, so that's my very impromptu quick review for the M1 MacBook Air. Do recommend it. I would look around for a good deal just because there are good deals to be had nowadays. But all in all, good stuff. All right. So that's going to do it for this one. Until next time, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for lots more videos just like this. Peace.